my name is Helen. Welcome to my art room, where I would like to share with you what has inspired my images and creative writing. I've been on an exciting journey exploring archaeological sites, myths and folklore, and this is an ancient history of art centred on women for people who are intrigued by informative fables and would like to translate them into modern myths to inspire the future.
A fairy story for Chateau de Lalande. It was a beautiful summer's evening at Chateau de Lalande, and one of the resident peahens was perched atop the vegetable garden wall, all the better for her to survey the dusky meadow below, when she glimpsed a frog and a hedgehog processing together amongst the starry flowers. She started and then flew off down for a closer look. You see, the peahen was most curious because as the frog bounced along, he was struggling to keep a golden crown on his head. Meanwhile, as his hedgehog companion trotted alongside, she jauntily wafted peacock feathers, decorating a silken cap which was tied under her chin with a bow. The peahen landed right in front of them, which caused a threesome crash, and they all fell over. Getting up, they shook themselves, and as the frog and the hedgehog replaced their headgear with as much dignity as possible, the peahen first eyed the crown and then the cap. Taking a moment to readjust her lace shawl with her beak, the peahen then addressed the hedgehog. "Have you stolen that cap from the chateau's laundry room? I know you often sleep in the basket in there." "No," croaked the frog, affronted. "I'll have you know that this is my fiancée, and the cap was made for her by Marie." And then he looked crestfallen at the ground. "We appear as we do because we are enchanted." "Oh dear," whispered the peahen. "However did that happen?" The hedgehog sighed. Catastrophe struck on what should have been the happiest day of our lives. We were sitting by the lake that used to lay in front of this chateau. We had just agreed to marry, and then all of a sudden the lake began to drain away. We could scarcely believe it, and as we ran alongside the lake, demanding why this awful thing was being done, we were transformed into a frog and a hedgehog. "Do you believe you can ever be changed back?" asked the peahen. "Maybe, if the lake is restored, I suppose," muttered the frog. On hearing this, the peahen shuffled her feathers, threw back her neck, and gave a delighted call. Once the echo of her excitement faded, she told them this: "You will be glad to know our chatelaine, Stephanie, is applying to restore the Lake of Lalande very soon." The frog jumped for joy, and the hedgehog clapped her little hands. It would seem all will be well in the end. Now, I expect you are wondering who was so cruel as to transform a pair of lovers on the very day of their betrothal into a frog and a hedgehog. Perhaps if you know something of the history of Lalande, you might think the culprit has to be a dastardly person. Maybe even the ghost of Hugues de Chambord, whose murder of Guillaume de Boueix is commemorated by the Chêne d'Uno oak tree. In which case, I have a surprise for you. It was an accident. Yes, a fumbling, incompetent mistake. And this is what happened. First, before getting to the gist of the matter, I must mention Marie Dumont, the chatelaine of Lalande, who, in order to pay inheritance debts in 1691, had to forego its ownership to Louis XIV's cousin, La Grande Mademoiselle. Marie Dumont did manage to repossess Lalande in 1721, and during those years away from home, she made a friend called Cécile, an amusing and accomplished young lady who was partially sighted and who came to live at Lalande. This Cécile kept a notebook where she squirreled away all sorts of things. For example, the scented petals of her favourite roses, pasted scraps of toile de Juillet wallpaper, which she still acquires from under Stephanie's nose, and also other secrets, like love potions in the guise of herbal remedies. Of course, in her time, Cécile had to be careful not to be found in possession of spells and potions, as this could bring about an accusation of witchcraft. So she took care to record such things in symbols and pictures. As you know, Lalande has a benevolent ghost called Henri, and he is great friends with Cécile. And on the day that Lalande's lake was drained away, Henri sought out Cécile to ask her help.